Welcome, everybody. My name is Berit Weymers. If this is your first time joining us for a webinar, I hope you enjoy it. Today is our biggest webinar of the year usually, so it's our iFormBuilder 2022 roadmap. As we go on during today's webinar, I will be your moderator, so if you have any questions, I'll be able to answer those for you, as well as help Joe along the way with polls and other links and resources to send along to you. As I mentioned, my name's Berit Weymers, and Joe, do you want to tell everyone a little bit about yourself?
Sure. For those I haven't talked to in the past, I'm Joe Vetoe. I, for many years, ran the help desk here at Zerion, and in the last few months, I've taken over as a product manager. So I'm pretty excited to be able to share what we've been working on the last few months and what we got done last year.
And Joe, I'm really excited to have you present. I've been trying to have you present for about 10 years now, so I finally have you out.
Let me down.
Again, for those of you who haven't attended before, the session is recorded, and after the session in the next 24 hours, we'll take the recording as well as the presentation and send it over to you so you have access to it later on. And at this point, I'll hand the reins over to you, and I'll be interrupting you as you go on, but thank you again, and look forward to seeing what you have for us today.
Okay. Thanks, Berit. And apologies to start. My son is home today, so if you hear some background noise, that's just Hurricane Max blowing through. I'm hoping the iPad I gave him as a babysitter will keep him occupied for the next hour. So you may hear a little bit of noise, but the first thing we want to start out with is one of our biggest community requests over the last couple of years, and that is our new multi-photo element. So I know when we were doing the community request, it was referred to as rapid fire photos. So this is what we've been working on the last few months to make this a reality. It's currently being developed. And what this element is going to do is allow users to take multiple photos or upload from their photo library inside a single element. So you won't have to do the multi-paging subform to be able to get multi-photos. It'll reduce the number of clicks that the user has to do, not only inside the element, but again, with having to go into the record view each time to add a new photo. So we're pretty excited about this. It does store the data as a JSON object when you send it to the server, so you're able to parse it out for your reporting needs. And I'll demo this here in a few minutes after we talk about the drawing enhancements that we've also done. So we have a brand new interface. People that have been using Android have had this for a few months, so they've been able to try this out and see how they like it. It's in beta still. We did release it for iOS as well in January, so it is available on both platforms. So it's got the brand new interface with the floating menu there on the right. It allows you to move that around in case it's in your way when you're trying to annotate or type in some text. One of the biggest enhancements is the ability to add custom icons now. So instead of just the standard ones that we provide through the form builder, you're able to upload your own custom icons. So we'll walk through that too in a demo of this. We're also working on being able to pre-fill a background image. So this again will be done on the form builder side, where you'll be able to select an image and everyone who downloads this particular form will have the same background image. So I'm going to demo this. The first thing we're going to demo is the multi-photo element. And as you can see, it's pre-recorded, so if it's like an old movie and sometimes my voice doesn't match to the video, that is why. So we'll walk through this from building the form out to showing how it works on the Android device. So as you see on the left-hand side, we've added a new multi-photo element. And if you're using this in the beta period, you may see this note here where it's not supported on iOS or Webforms. So we're pretty far along on both Android and Webforms as far as development goes, and we're getting ready to start iOS. So Hopefully, when we roll this out of the beta period, all of these will be released at the same time, so users and form builders won't need to see that. So we're just going to name this element take up to 4 pics, because I'm going to show you how to set the limit of how many a user can take. The standard limit is 6, so that's going to be what it's set to automatically. If you want to change it, then under these dynamic attributes is where you would do that. With the element, it also allows you to disable the camera if you need to. So that would mean the users would only be able to use photos from their library, not take pictures. And the opposite is true of disabling the photo library. They would only be able to take pictures. And this is form specific. So we're just going to add this attribute. I'm going to set it to 4 and save my form. And then I'm going to sync the device so that it can take those changes. And when we open up this element, you're going to see 0 of 4. So that's saying, they're able to take up to 4. They haven't taken any. They can see that before they have to go in the element to see what the count is. So at the bottom, you'll see the delete, the count, the camera, and the ability to upload from the photo library. So we're just going to take some pictures. You'll see you can zoom in. You can flip the camera around if you need to. I tried to avoid myself, but was unsuccessful there. So we'll just take a few pictures. You'll see that it's 1 click. There's no confirmation. You'll see the count is increasing there on the right. We're going to go out, and we're going to add a photo from the library. So you can mix and match those within the same element. We'll just select that and then hit select, and then we will save that, and we'll sync it to the server. And I'll show you what it's going to look like on the server. There are a few changes actually that we made this morning, so I'll talk through that. It may have been yesterday or this morning. So when we go over to the data views, I'll refresh so you can see the record. You'll see that it shows the JSON object here. We've updated that, so it's going to show thumbnails of the images taken. If you click inside the record, you're going to get this view where you can scroll through the images that you've taken, or use the table view below to click on the images directly. And that's how you'll be able to view the images taken within that element. So that's just a quick overview of the first phase of multi-photo. I know in the next phase, we're gonna add the ability to add captions to each photo. So we'll update the community post with what that'll look like, and people can add their thoughts there as we develop that. So next, I'm just going to take you through doing the drawing element. Sorry. So again, we'll just start in the form builder. We'll add the drawing element just as you normally would, even with the old version. And again, we're going to scroll down to the dynamic attributes. And for this particular element, again, we're going to have these 3. So again, you'll be able to disable the camera if you need to. You'll be able to disable the photo library. And this is all specific to this form. So it's on a per form basis. I don't know how many people know about the dynamic attributes right now, but this is a good way to set those things on a per form level. So we're just going to add the custom icons here. So you'll see we provided these standard icons at the top, and I've added a couple of custom icons to the form. So we're just going to stick with the standard icons for now so I can show you what those look like. We'll hit save, we'll save our form, and then we'll sync the device to get those changes. And when we open this up, we're going to see this is the old version of the drawing element. So since it's still in beta, it's not enabled by default. So we'll have to go out to the settings menu and enable it from there. So you just click on settings, and then you scroll down to element settings, and then you just flip it on there. Once it's out of beta, it'll be set to there by default. But for now, we're just leaving it as an option. So you'll see as we go back in, now you're given a choice. You see the new menu. You didn't have to resync to take those changes, but you can take a pick from the image gallery. I'm just going to click off of here because I just want to show you the options on the menu. That menu can be moved, like I said. You click on the palette to change the color. And then we have the pencil where you can draw. You can change the size if needed. And you can also change the opacity. So if you still want to be able to see the drawing underneath, you can change it so that the drawing is see-through. This is the eraser, so you can change the size of that as well. You can add some text here to this. And you can add multiple text if you need to. I'm just adding this one incoherent sentence just as an example. So you can change the font type. We have a few options there, as well as the font size. And then you can also edit the text as needed. So we'll just do that. We'll hit OK. And then when we hit the save, the check mark to submit, you'll get this message. And what this is saying is, once you confirm this, any object that you put on this drawing, you cannot edit. So you won't be able to delete any of this or erase or change the color if you go back into the element, which I'll show here. So we'll go back in. And if you see, I'll try to erase the object here. And you're not able to do it. So that's locked in once you hit the submit there, the check mark. You can add new objects. So I'll do that here. And that allows you to add new, but you just won't be able to edit what's previously done. So we'll do that. And then I'm going to show you the standard icons here. So there you can see the ones that we provide. I'm going to go back over to the form builder. And under dynamic attributes, we're going to select the custom icons here. So the two that I added, you just click on those to select them and then hit save. And then we'll just want to save the form and then resync the device to take those changes. You can add up to 10. I just did 2 just as an example. So we'll sync our device. We'll get those changes. We'll go in and then, yep, you'll see that we have those 2 icons to choose from. So we have the icons and we also have the shape tool. You can just click on the image to add those. We have the solid shapes as well as the outlined, and we allow you to change the color of those. So that's just a quick overview of the enhancements we made on the drawing element. I'll stop there, Barrett. I don't know if anybody has any questions.
Hey, Joe, we actually have a few questions and actually some comments come in. So first is with the multi-photo. Does the speed get impacted with the use of a multi-photo element versus making use of the subform with photos in there? Is it a faster speed, same speed? What can we expect?
Yeah, the speed should be pretty comparable, especially since if you have the media upload API turned on. I mean, those should go pretty quickly in the sync. You shouldn't notice that much of a difference in the sync times. Where you save all the time is in the clicks and in the form building and having to go through the record view to get through and add all those photos.
Great. Well, thank you. And then another question is it possible to have multiple multi-photo elements in one form?
Yes. You can add as many as you like.
Great.
Although we do recommend testing that out before you roll it out into the field, obviously.
So with that, I mean, the question comes to, because I know we've talked about potentially having some customers want to have it so the multi-photo element defaults to, let's say, 11 photos instead. So if we're defaulting to 11 photos, is that better use, or does it make more sense to have 2 multi-photo elements that both have default to 6? Or does it not matter at all?
Well, I mean, it just matters in if you have one that's set to 12, that you wouldn't have to click in 2 elements, right? So, I mean, it's just an extra click if you have 2 that have 6 or 1 that has 12. Right? So that would be the difference there.
Okay, so no difference with performance of the app, and it's just really more on the user experience.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Great. Another question that came in about the multi-photo is, do you have a timeline for when it'll be available for iOS?
So don't have a timeline necessarily. We're hoping to start. We're starting the development of it, and we're hoping to start testing it sometime in the middle of next month. So depending on how development goes and how the testing goes, we'll have a better idea of when we'll be able to release it to beta.
Awesome.
But that's the timeline we have right now.
Okay, and we'll be sure, I'll send along the release notes and make sure that this individual is also following those release notes so that they get notified when it is added.
Okay.
Another question that came in, we have a few questions actually that came in with the drawing element. There was one that said they absolutely love it. They've already started using it. And the question came in about having the ability to upload an image to be used as a background image. So right now you showed us how you had an icon that could be stored and then used. Can you have a background image that's stored and then used, or how would you go about doing that?
Yeah. So very soon we're working on that right now. So very soon you will be able to, just like I showed it'll be under the dynamic attributes like you see right here on my screen. There will be a choice to have a pre-filled background image. So the same way you'll click on that, you'll add your image, and then anybody who uses this form will have that preloaded.
Great. And then our last question, as for right now at least, is for the drawing element. So can it be defined, the quality of the uploaded image, can it be defined at all?
Is it referring to the size of the image?
I believe that just the quality, so it's not grainy, which again, I guess would come with the size.
Yeah, I'll have to check on that. I'm not exactly positive on how that would work to keep the quality of the image, if that's based on size or if we can change which size image they use on the drawing. I think it's standard, but let me check and we can get back to that person.
Great. Thank you, and that's it for now.
Okay, great. So the next thing I'm going to talk about is a new service that we're looking to do, which is a new PDF generator. Right now, anybody who's used our current PDF knows it's a little bit cumbersome. You can only do one PDF at a time. There's not much customization involved. So one of the big goals for this year is to create this new service that allows for UI improvements, for better speeds, for being able to handle more than one PDF at a time, and to do those customizations. We're just in the planning stages right now, so this is something people should look for more towards the end of the year. And I believe we have a community post created this morning, so we'll keep that updated as we start development and what we have in mind on that. Another thing we want to improve is form assignments. So right now you're building a form. In order to assign that, you have to go out of the form, you have to go to the Forms tab, click Form Assignment, find the form, assign the form. So we want to make that a little easier. So inside the Form Builder, we're looking to add this icon that will take you directly to the form assignment page where you can directly add those users and groups. And it'll also open up in a new tab, so you don't have to worry about losing your work if you're in the Form Builder and you haven't saved. It'll it'll keep the form builder open and take you to the form assignment. So that's just the first phase of what we want to do, just to make it a little bit easier. I know we're also talking about better ways to handle that, maybe like a pop-up here where you hit that and it doesn't take you out at all. It just has a pop-up and you can assign the forms directly there. So that's something we're looking to do. Again, we'll keep the community updated with those, and then any feedback anybody has, we can talk through those. We're also looking to make improvements to public links. So last year we released public links, which allows you to create a link to your form that allows users who are not iFormBuilder users to fill out a form that you send to them. So it was a public way of letting people fill out the form without having to have a user in the iForm system. So in phase 2, we're hoping to add record assignment to that. So where admin or another user could fill out the form, part of the form, and then assign that record as a public link and be able to fill that out. So that's what we're looking to improve there. And then with Webforms, we're looking to improve the speed with API 8, which we've actually just rolled out recently. So if you've been using it in the last month, hopefully you've seen some speed improvements there on Webforms. And we're also with Webforms in the multi-photo, and the next thing I'm getting ready to talk about, the HTTP request element. We'll be adding those to Webforms as well. So this is the next new element that we're creating that's in development right now, which we're calling the HTTP request element. So this is going to let you query APIs that you build, send that data to iForm on the devices, and store it as a JSON object. So one of the key things on this is that it's going to be our first online only feature. So pretty self-explanatory. The users in the field will have to be in a connected environment in order to use this feature. The use cases, we have a few. I know one of the popular ones is being able to query the weather on site visits and be able to parse out, that information for that extra detail. The one I'm getting ready to demo is one that will check for unique values in the data so that you can't put duplicate information in. And there's obviously other use cases. I don't need to read through all these, but it could also alleviate, if you know your users are going to be in a connected environment, it's a way. A lot of people have a lot of lookup records, like 50,000 to 100,000. You have to do that sync before you go out in the field. This could be a way, if you're going to be in a connected environment, to alleviate some of that and pull that information while you're out in the field in real time. So this is just a mock-up of what it might look like on the device. So over on the left, the user would tap that element to request data. You would get back a good response, or if it didn't go through, you would get a pop-up with a message of why. And then through the form builder, you can parse out the data that it pulls in. So that's what this is showing. So the second half of this would have to be built through the form builder with JavaScript and parsing out that information. Another thing that we introduced in 2021 is self-service billing. So right now, if you're on app.iFormBuilder, customer or company admins have the ability to add users or update the billing address. If you're on your own private database, then server admins have this ability. So what we found is this really speeds up the process. Instead of having to reach out to your CSM and them sending you an order form, you signing it, sending it back, us putting it in a system, you having to wait. This will all happen in real time. You can buy your users. The users will get added immediately. So it really speeds up the process. So this year we're looking to enhance it some. For those who are on ZIM enabled accounts, you know about our policies. So those are just like a set of permissions you give to users to do certain tasks. So with billing, we're looking to add 2 new policies. One that will allow users to buy items such as users. We're looking to add public links, data flow, that kind of thing to be able to purchase. And the other policy would be to update the billing information. We're also looking to add a field where people can put in their PO numbers. We know we have a lot of customers that require POs in order to make purchases. So we're going to add that in. And then also the ability to upgrade from a trial to a paid account seamlessly. So that, again, it can happen in real time. So right now I'm just going to take you through those 2 things. I'm going to show you how the HTTP request element works on Webforms. That's where I'm going to show that. And then I'll just take you quickly through how billing works in its current state. So again, the HTTP request, we've added a new element here on the left-hand side. Again, this is going to allow you to query APIs, pull data into the form for the users, and they can pull that data in real time. John was nice enough to put together this demo form for me to be able to show how to use this in that situation where we want to check for a unique value. So we're going to do a customer registration form. So what this should do is if I enter a company name that's already in there, I shouldn't be able to submit the record. So you see down here is the HTTP request element that we added to the form. And then scroll on the element properties on the right. And under the dynamic attributes, that's where you're going to put your API URL, where you're going to be requesting the data from. So we'll just make sure the form is saved here. And then we'll go over to our web forms to check this out. I'm going to enter a company name so that we can check for to see if it's already been added to the data. So I'm just going to type in Joe's company. And then I'm going to hit send. And what this is going to do, this is where it's going to query those APIs to check against the data to see if that company already exists. So we'll get back a positive status, which is good. And then you'll see here that the company has already been registered, and then I can't submit the record. I'm just going to change the name of the company to Joe's Taco Truck. And again, I'll hit send. It'll query that API again. And this time it should be, so since it hasn't been entered before, you'll see that I'll be able to enter this contact information. So I'll just put my name in here. And then I'll type in my email address, which I will definitely get wrong the first try because I always do. And then you'll see I'll be able to submit the form. So I'm just going to hit submit new record. I'm going to check again for the one I just entered, Joe's Taco Truck. And we'll make sure that we're not able, that it's already in the data and not able to submit the record. So there we go. Company name has already been registered. So that's just one example of how to use it. I think that customers are going to be able to find really good use cases for this. I think we're just scratching the surface and wanted to show something on it. So Berit, if we want to stop here, if anybody has questions.
Sure. So
oh no,
you want to?
Sorry, do you want? Sorry, let me do that. I did that in the rehearsal yesterday too.
You got it, Joe.
Right, so I'm gonna just so I'm just gonna show quickly. This is gonna be on. This is what it looks like on app.iFormBuilder with the billing process. So company admins will go and they'll be able to see under the company tab. You can select billing. And on this page, you're going to see your subscription and billing information. So under subscription information, you're going to see your current number of users. You're going to see your annual user rate. If you have monthly users, you'll be able to see your monthly user rate. And if you have any of these other items, you'll be able to see those as well. So we're just going to add a couple of users. So I want to go from 21 users to 23 users. So I'm just going to put 23 in. I'm going to hit save. And I'll confirm that I'm adding 2 additional users for 23 total. I'll type in confirm purchase and then hit confirm. And that gives me the summary I had done. It's processing that order in real time, and it's done. So now you have those 2 extra user licenses you can create. And now you can update your billing information here. So it's always good with billing to have 2 different emails in case someone doesn't get the first email. So I'll just type mine in here, and I typed it in wrong, and then I did it right. Street address I will change, and then I'll hit review and hit save. And you'll see all that information is updated. So that is that is what currently is available with billing. So that doesn't include any of the changes, enhancements we're looking to make this year. And now we can take questions.
Hey, Joe, we have a lot of questions coming in. The first one was about a timeline for when the HTTP request element will be released. I know you and I have talked before about first doing web forms and then iOS and Android, but do you have a timeline or a goal for when all of 3 of those are complete?
So, yeah, I don't want to give. I mean, it's still, all 3 phases are still in development. So once we get those developed, it's gonna take some testing to get that done. Webforms obviously is the furthest along, which is why we demoed that. But even that we're updating some of the look of that. iOS is in current development, so it's being developed right now. So we should be in testing here in the next week or so. And then Android will begin development here in the next week or so. So those timelines, it would just, some of these will be in beta quicker than the other ones. So hopefully in the next 30 to 45 days, they'll be available for everyone on all platforms.
Awesome. There's another question about the HTTP request, and they're asking if this individual understands that this one is just for calling a request. Are we going to allow for like an HTTP post or delete? Or is that something that's also in the timeline?
So that's something that we have started discussing doing. I definitely do not have a timeline on those, but we are actively talking about it and hoping to develop those as well.
And I urge this individual and all of you to go into our community posts for each of these releases and add the requirements that you'd like to see within these elements and these features, so that as we build it, we're building with your use case in mind. In the chat section, I did upload all the links, but also in our follow-up email, we'll be sending along the community posts so that you can add your comments. And I will say, I answered this question for you, Joe, but it might be helpful for everyone else to hear. For this first rollout of the HTTP request, we are only allowing for public APIs to be used. In the future, we will plan for having private, password-protected APIs as well.
Correct.
Okay, and I think up next, Joe, since those are all the questions for now, would you like me to launch my poll? Or do you have something else yet that you want to discuss?
Oh, wait, I do have one more thing before you do your poll.
All right.
So people might be happy about this one. So this is another item that's currently just in planning, which is a notification center on the mobile devices. So what we're hoping to do is have these, I know right now you assign records, users get a notification, you send them a notification telling them something and they click OK and these notifications kind of go away. So what we want to do is have a notification center where you can assign records to your users, they can see it in the center, you can send messages to your users, it'll remain in the notification center. It'll also allow us to let people know of things that are important. If maybe there's a bug that users need to be alerted to, or if there is an update that is available, or some sort of, we have webinar certification that we'll be able to send these notifications to, and they'll be separate. So tasks are kind of what we're envisioning for admins to send to users. Notifications will be maybe a combination of sending those messages that you send now and anything that we may need to report and help the users understand. So that's one of the things I'm most excited about. Again, that's in the planning, so that's going to be more towards the end of the year before we start seeing anything. But again, we'll keep the community post updated as we go, and any feedback we get along the way will be great. We're also going to do XML RPC to API for iOS. So we did that for Android last year, and we're working to get that done with iOS this year. And that just helps, that increases the speed of the syncs, of the download, of the forms. It allows for the error messaging to be more robust, and it'll improve just the overall experience with using the app. So those are the two things we're working on there. And then we're moving our services to API 8. So what that basically means is we're just looking to, it's going to improve the performance and the speed of all these services that we're working in. So that's a goal of the team to do. And one thing I didn't put on the slide but should mention is that we have rolled out SSO for ZIM enabled customers. So if that's something that customers need and they're on a ZIM enabled account, then we should be able to accommodate that now. Now it's poll time.
All right. And while we have this poll going, I do want to say that there were some requests about the notification center and maybe customizing what notifications go through to the end users. I know, Joe, you and I have talked about customers with white labels being able to control that. But for everyone else without white labels, if you want to have any sort of control over what notifications are being seen on the user's device, please put that in our Customer Success Center. I've posted the article to our community post. Post any requirements that you want to see within the notification center, and from there, we'll be able to take your requirements and your needs in mind as we build it out. Okay, I'm still waiting for some people to vote. We have, it looks like maybe half our audience has voted. I'll give it another few seconds here. I really look forward to seeing everyone's response, and I'll actually share it on the screen so that, Joe, you can see it and everyone else can see what upcoming features are getting people excited. Okay, so with that, let me close this poll and I'll share the results here. So it looks like everything is pretty exciting, but definitely that multi-photo element is on the top of the list here. So it's really cool to see.
Yeah, people should be able to start trying that out here very soon. Okay, so just to recap, 2021, some of the things that we got done. One of the big requests that we had in the community was more options for storing your media. So up until last year, it was Box, Dropbox, private media. So we added Google Drive, SharePoint, and OneDrive. So if you want to use those and you're not, that is available for you to start using. We talked about public links. Again, that's something everybody can start using. We give you 100 free public links a month in your account. So that should be available to everybody right now. We did a new data upload service for ZIM-enabled customers, so that hopefully replaces the old CSV upload, which only allowed you to create new records. The data upload allows you to do that, as well as update existing records, do form assignment, and some other post-processing things. We talked about self-service billing and API 8 to increase the performance and speed of our services.
All right, yep. So I know we just talked through everything that we did, or some of the most notable releases in 2021. So if everyone could just give us some quick insight on what you liked. Maybe you haven't used these yet, but at least after hearing about them, hopefully you have some good insight. For those of you who haven't learned or haven't used data upload yet, I will be sending over a link so that you can check that out a little bit more in detail. Also, keep in mind that data upload is only available for groups that have migrated to our latest interface. So the latest interface includes the updated user management, includes data upload, and some of the other features like licensing that we've also updated. And if you are interested in migrating to that new user interface, be sure to contact your customer success manager, and that person will be the correct person to help you with that migration so that you could start using data upload and some of the new features. And I don't think this will be much of a surprise here, Joe, but it looks like everyone's really excited about everything, but on the lowest side of the list is the billing. So shouldn't really be much of a surprise. Who really likes talking about money anyways, right?
Exactly.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hide our results here. And just a few announcements. So from April 12th to the 15th is our next certification session. I would love it if you can attend. We are going to link to it in our follow-up email as well, but just to give a few details if you're unaware of what it is. The certification is a 4-day event. Each day is about 2 hours, and the time is spent going through how to best manage your account, how to best build forms and add smart controls to your forms so you eliminate user error and build a project that can be used in a real life scenario. So part of the certification does require that you attend all the sessions as well as do a project. I am your instructor there, so if you have any questions, feel free to ask and I am happy to help. We've seen a lot of groups be very beneficial with sending their users to the certification because from that point on, the company can anticipate that that user is going to make use of best practices with building their forms, as well as they know the ins and outs of the platform. I also have been pushing this throughout the whole webinar, but please join our community. And I have a link to it. All of our community posts, you can put your comments in so that we build our platform to best suit your needs. Lastly, if there's any questions, Joe and I are here and we're happy to answer them. But I do want to give a special thank you to Joe. You did a great job on your first webinar. And also a special thank you to all of you who took time out of your schedule to join us for today's webinar and have given us some really helpful feedback. And any questions, we'll be here. Otherwise, thank you again and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you, guys.